video is not about the fact that I got this UFO looking thing. This is called a hand pan. As many of you may or may not know, I am a musician. I play bass, I play some other instruments, but during the whole breast cancer journey that we've been on with Lisa, I've personally said, what's one thing that I can do? And it's play music and fill the home up that we're in with good musical energy and therapy and vibes. There's a whole school of music therapy, and this particular instrument is a part of that, the hand pan. So I went online, I did a little bit of research, I ordered one. I've never played one until about, 3 or 4 days ago? 4 days ago? 5 days ago? So just got this. I've been having a blast with it, but it seems like everybody's been enjoying it. It's been filling the home up with some really beautiful healing tones. You've been enjoying it.
It's really nice. He plays it at night when we're getting the kids ready for bed. They love it. I'll sometimes lay there with them. I try not to fall asleep. When I'm downstairs, I can hear it as well. It's really nice. It looks a little different.
It literally looks like a UFO.
It does look like a UFO.
I will say, when I play it, it abducts me and it takes me to different places, but then it kind of does that to all of us when we are there, and it just mellows you out and the tones just feel good. And we know that our body is so much water, so this is why music just hits us with such power. I think the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche said, music stirs the soul like no other art form. So we're trying to keep music very much life in the house as we work on making sure that Lisa stays as positive and as energized as she can and keeping really good healing energy coming in. And that's one area that I can contribute, because I wish I could fully fight the fight for her, but I can't. Lisa, what's been going on? You've had 2 rounds of chemo so far.
So since
Tell
our
us
last
what's been going
video,
on.
we thought we'd do a quick video. The kids are in school, so it's much easier to record. As you saw with the last one, Preston is quite animated. So where we left off last time was kids were starting school, and then I was starting the first round of chemo. We've now done 2, and we're heading into the 3rd one this week. So as of this recording, I don't know when the video will go live, but so first one went, I guess, as expected. We going into it, I had watched a few videos to try to figure out what to expect to make it less scary, because when you hear chemo, you think of what you think of, right? So I think that really helped take the scariness out of things. It's really not... I want to do a video too of the chemo process, because it really helped me and has helped want to share that with others. So it's really not a big scary thing. It's interesting.
The actual process itself.
Yeah.
The actual process itself, and the nursing staff that is there. I mean, our really good friend of ours that has gone through it as well. She goes, they're just among the best humans that exist on this planet, and I would second that notion. They have been so kind and so helpful and so caring. The team that we've had the privilege of working with Lisa on her 2 infusions thus far that she's had, which is about a 3-hour process.
I was just gonna say, when you think of a chemo infusion, you tend to think of 6 to 8 hours, and mine have actually been about 2.5.
That's right.
Right around 2.5.
Hers, and that's important, because there are ones that are 6 to 8 hours.
Right.
Okay,
right.
but the type that Lisa is having is in that realm of less than a half day worth of time. So that's been cool through the process.
And I think we'll do a whole video of just, this is what it looks like, because labs are done the day before, kind of what the infusion center looks like and all of that. So hopefully that'll be something coming up if you're interested in that. I don't even know. But overall, it's been kind of what you would expect. You go in, you get your infusion. I heard going into it the first day and the day after, you feel pretty good, which has been the case for me too, as the steroids are still in your body. So the day of chemo, a little tired. The next day, I feel like, let's go out and about and do things. And then it starts to hit the the rough patch for a few days. So the first one took about 6 days or so of feeling pretty rough. And then the second one, I was hoping I'd fall into that same realm, but it took a little longer to rebound from, where you just feel awful. That's the best way you can put it. And then you kind of climb out of it. Like today, in the last couple days, I've been feeling pretty normal as I head into chemo number 3. So, yeah.
Yeah, and chemo is, you know, as we know, it's working on attacking the cancer cells, the rapidly generating cancer cells. There's multiple different layers of them, but those portions in particular. So, you know, it's not good stuff. It's very, very toxic stuff. It was, I think chemo, if I'm not mistaken, was like discovered through mustard gas. So that's kind of the foundation of it from many decades ago. So it's not great stuff, but it does do the work that it needs to. And we've been really happy with our particular team.
Yeah.
And we've also, Lisa, you've been in the space as well of really attacking this from a, you know, just from a nutrition angle as well, in terms of, got this whole notion of nourish the patient and work on starving the cancer. And when we talk about nourishing the patient, it's not only just looking at just making sure she's eating and attacking the cancer, it's also making sure that we're maintaining the body and the organs like the liver that are going to be detoxing the body, that are responsible for removing the toxins from her body. What's that journey been like with the eating journey? Granted, I've been chefing a lot of it and doing massive amounts of
the healthy chef.
Hey,
So,
I was a pretty good healthy chef.
You're a
before,
good healthy chef. This is to another level.
This is on a different level. Yes.
Yes. So when I first got diagnosed, you can go down the whole rabbit hole of nutrition and find different points of view, right? So a lot of it is cut out sugar. Obviously, sugar feeds cancer, so that was a big one. But I was scared, literally scared to eat anything, knowing that my cancer is growing at a much faster pace than the traditional cancer, breast cancer.
Yeah, triple negative grows at what, 3 times the rate?
I think so.
It is the most aggressive form of breast cancer that you can have. So it grows at, I think it's triple the rate of the other versions, and it's not, on the conventional side, not treatable by any hormone therapy or anything, because it's not fueled by any of the hormones like estrogen or anything like that. So anyhow, go on.
So because of that, I was scared to eat, you know, grain, bread, whole wheat bread, because eventually that's going to turn into sugar. I'm thinking, okay, that's going to fuel it. So for a period of time, I was eating salad. Well, I was nauseous too after my diagnosis. So just in a space of terrified to eat any morsel of food. And we ended up working with a cancer nutritionist through Creating Cures. And Darren can talk a little bit more about that. But that's really helped open up what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, and specifically for my type of breast cancer. So I was eating chicken, and for my type of breast cancer, it's fueled by the IGF-1, and if you know about that, it's fueled by that. So
insulin growth factor.
Yeah.
So it accelerates, it's basically, just think about it like this, it's a fertilizer for insulin in the body, and in a nutshell. At least that's what we've come to understand it as. So eating that was fueling unintentionally the growth of the cancer through elevating the insulin levels.
Yeah.
Go on.
So I was eating plant-based, moved to a plant-based diet, no dairy, no sugar, but having chicken, because I do like chicken, thinking, you know, that's the source of protein. You want to have protein in your body. So just, it's been very helpful working with the nutritionist to narrow down what to eat. So now I'm not scared to eat. And then I would have smaller meals rather than larger meals because my stomach is quite nauseous. So eating smaller meals throughout the day is spiking the insulin levels. So having 3 solid meals was recommended, so it just a lot of information to take in, but also super helpful to know that we get to take control of that. And it's one way that we can combat this in a way that we can, in addition to the standard chemotherapy route and what's to follow as well.
Yeah, it's been this really cool blend of conventional and really natural diet base, because we always say this, our food is our medicine, right? Like it's what we're eating every day. It can heal us, it can also not heal us. It can create elements of sickness or fuel elements of sickness that are within us. So this has been a powerful journey, and the really cool part is as Lisa gets blood work for her chemo treatment, those blood markers are also we're also working with our nutritionist on that. So it's not just, hey, this is what works. It's we're actually tracking what the markers are. How is the liver doing? How is the IGF-1? Just talking about that. And what are ways that we can attack that, attack different numbers and different components that are showing up in our panels. Your vitamin D level, for instance, different things like that. What are these areas that we want to strengthen up, and what are the areas that we want to reduce, and how do we adjust our diet to kind of go through that? And again, as Lisa mentioned, how the calories are being consumed. As simple as something like, just think of a burrito. You would think, oh, if you eat a burrito all at the same time, it's fine, it's not going to be any different to your body. What we learn from them is deconstructing that burrito. So if she's having a bean burrito, because her cancer is actually ketogenically fueled as well. So if she's in a state where she's in ketosis, fat fueled for too long, fasted, for those of you that aren't into the understanding what ketosis is. So effectively fasted for long periods of time, that actually fuels her cancer. So she needs, some complex carbohydrates, right?
So whole wheat, so a burrito for me, which going into this, I was like, there's no way I can have a burrito. A burrito for me would be a whole wheat tortilla, black beans, and salmon. And I can have salmon.
From Dos Coyotes. Mm-hmm. So that's
avocado.
Yeah, that's become the thing. But to break this down, the level of detail they've gotten into while they're tracking the blood markers is if you deconstruct that burrito. So if you ate a portion of the inside of it first, so the beans, the avocado, if there's any lettuce, tomatoes that's in it, eat that first, and then eat the complex carbs, the tortilla, right? That actually can reduce her insulin level post eating. And these are things that are very little subtle adjustments that lower the overall load on her body, which are stress factors, which can lead to inflammation, which it can be fueling the cancer. And we're getting into understanding how that works together. We're probably butchering some of this, so I'm sure some of you that have a better medical background or diet background than we do, we'll have some perspective on that. But bottom line is we are very, very blown away with creating Cures Foundation, which is tied to Dr. Walter Longo, who's the director for the Center for Longevity at University of Southern California. His work, he's an Italian-American doctor, and his work has been just pivotal in the space of longevity, and as well as cancer nutrition and disease nutrition. So that center has a lot of stuff out there. The Create Cures Foundation, a lot in the way of other diseases, but it's been really mind-blowing, the level of detail and how they're actually tracking it and tying it to blood that we've got to. We could talk a lot more about that, but you don't want to hear us nerd out on that.
We'll link it down below, actually, in the description of the video in case anybody is interested, because it's a fantastic resource.
Yeah, it's been mind-blowing, and it came to us through a really good friend of ours as well, who has a family member that's going through breast cancer. Lise, how have the kids been doing? They're into school now.
The kids are doing good. Yeah, so where we left off, they were just about to start school. They're in it. They're in the thick of it. They are making new friends. They're transitioning well, which that was our biggest concern, is we've ripped them from their life and thrown them into a whole new life here. But they're doing well. They do have their moments, which is to be expected. We all do.
We all have our moments. Yeah.
But we just kind of accept it. Everybody knows it's okay. It's okay to have all the feelings. They come, they go, we work together to overcome them, and I feel like they're transitioning really well. And Preston's very excited because he gets to start football, which we now have to call soccer because of American football. He gets to start that tomorrow, which he is ecstatic about.
He's pretty excited, and I think one of the things as we've been managing, and myself managing in more of the caretaker role for everybody, because when Lisa has her down days after chemo, she's pretty wiped out. It's my job a lot of times is just checking on her, making sure that we're getting her up, hydrating her, getting her to go to the bathroom, different things like that, and keeping the train kind of running, keeping food flowing for the kids, getting them to school on time. But one thing that I know that I have personally realized on this journey is it's just the power of presence. I talked about that in my TED Talk, and how nature had helped me personally get there, and how that could be a benefit for others. But right now, if there's ever a time that I've needed to just be present, just in tune with where the kids are, it's now. Because we've definitely had some of those moments where we picked him up from school, and then all of a sudden there's just something. You can tell in the face, there's something that's there. And this happened, and then just got in the car and just tears just erupted. And when this happened, my dad was with me, and I was blessed that I was able to just jump in the back seat and be able to sit and just take that in. And here's the thing, we've tried to explain to them, it's okay if you have this tsunami of feelings and you don't even know what you're feeling or why, but it feels bad, it hurts, you're confused, it's overwhelming. And I just remember it multiple times. I think both of us at different iterations have just held them and just said, we're here. And if you just need a hug and you just need to cry for no other reason than to just sit and to cry. You don't have to explain why you're crying, what you're feeling. Just do that and let it out. And that's been true not just for the kids, but it's been true for all of us, I would say. I've definitely had those moments where I felt great. I came home, had a good workout. I've been taking care of my health, making sure that I'm exercising and training my mind, body, and spirit to just be ready for the day. And I've just come home and just told Lisa, I don't know what's going on, but it was a tear fest, and here she is. She's the one that's needing it, and
no, we're all.
I'm having to be held. But I would say for me personally, I think for the kids, we're having less of those. But there's nothing wrong with having them. Right. That's the key, because it's actually a beautiful thing. Because when both of them have had that, when I've had those, it's a release. Yeah. It's a release. It gets out of you. You've allowed yourself to feel these different elements. You bathe in them for a while, but you don't live in them. That's the key. None of us are wallowing in it, and that's been the goal. It's okay to feel all the things, the good, the bad, the ugly, and then step through it. Mm-hmm. And I know one of those pieces for you, Lise, was she's got this beautiful wig on right now. She won't be taking it off to reveal it to everybody yet, but or lack of hair. But yeah. She's as beautiful bald as I've ever seen. I actually told her it's really cool because now I get to fully see your facial features of all of that. Her hair is beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but it's been revealing and going through. Yeah. What was that journey like for you?
Speaking of that. Hold on one second.
Your nose is running?
Yes.
So one of the things that's been happening is because of the hair loss that takes place.
Oh, this is our favorite pillow too.
Because of the hair loss that takes place, the nose hair falls out. And that has just caused, just randomly, for no reason, her nose was...
You don't realize how beneficial nose hairs are.
Yeah, but
I always have to have a Kleenex, and I forgot to grab one.
Go ahead.
So... As you mentioned earlier, with the chemo killing the fastest growing cancer cells, it also kills off the fastest growing healthy cells, which is why you have to deal with hair loss. So I cut it short. So I think our last video, I hadn't cut my hair yet. I went from long hair, I cut about 10 inches to have shorter hair to make it a little less traumatic when that process started. And that was helpful. So I had short hair for about 2 weeks. After after my second infusion, I started noticing some shedding. I could see it on my shirt, or I would notice a little bit of shedding maybe a day or two after. And then I got really sick into the bad part of the aftermath. And as I came out of that, I noticed a lot more shedding. It was all over the pillow, all over the blankets. And I took a shower, and the day before we ended up doing the hair cutting, I took a shower and it was just coming out, and it's traumatizing. And that was the part that I dreaded the most, was having to experience all of that. But at the same time, I needed to get to the point where it was at that stage, because the next day I woke up and it was just coming out in giant clumps just by
doing this.
Not even touching it.
Just going like this, and it would be like my hand would be just full of hair.
It was just, it's a horrible thing to experience, but at that point, it helped push me over to the edge of, okay, it's time to shave the head. So it was in the morning. Darren did the drop off for the kids, and that was my time to just come to peace with it as best you can. Had lots of tears. It was hard, but then it got to the point where I was ready, and then we got the kids home. We decided to make it a family thing, which everything we do is a family. So it ended up being a really cool experience, because they were excited to help cut the hair. We got everything ready. We put on some awesome tunes. Darren created a playlist of all of our favorite Caribbean music.
Mom's haircut playlist, that's what it was.
It's very similar to the chemo, on the way to chemo playlist. Just our favorite songs that just get us, in the right frame of mind. And it was a really cool experience. So both of them got to cut hair. Preston was a little hesitant. He's our feeler for sure. He was a little hesitant, but once he realized we were okay, everything was fine, then he kind of got into it. So it ended up being a really cool experience, and not quite as traumatizing, because it feels good to have it off. And it continues, actually. So that was almost a week ago that we shaved everything off. Kira loves the shaved head. Preston's still a little iffy about it. I'm still getting used to it. But leading into treatment number 3, so I have like a buzz, not even a buzz, it's
down to metal. I mean, it's not, it's shaved down to just the metal guard, basically.
Which was great for this last week, but now today in the shower, as I wash my head, I can't really call it hair, I look at my hands and it's covered in little whatever's left. So I think by treatment 3, I'll have just a baby smooth head, which is interesting.
So two big things. We, in the haircutting process, as Lisa said, we put on music, had it going, turned it into a party, and celebrated it as a milestone. We've always said and lived by the whole notion of where your thoughts go, your energy flows. And it's easy to look at it and say, oh my God, you're losing your hair, and wallow in that. Yeah. We looked at it as we have now hit one of Lisa's biggest low points in this journey in terms of how she was looking at it and dreading. And that is the foundation, the bedrock of which she can bounce back up, right? So when you go down and you've gotten to that point now, we're actually already looking at it as now we're one day closer to the day that those sprouts of hair start to reemerge. There's still some falling out that's going through, but the act of going through it is like that. The other big thing, very, very important for the whole family, now Lisa gets ready in about 1/10 of the amount of time. Which makes me very, very happy. She's like, I can be ready in like 10 minutes.
Quick,
and she's like, and 10 minutes is actually 10 minutes, because usually she would say everything was 10 minutes, but it was really like not 10 minutes. Yeah. It was much, much longer than 10 minutes. But that was just her go-to response. And over the Labor Day weekend, that was 17 years since we've met, and I've been together for a long time. And that 10-minute process, she's never seemed to learn that. But now if I hear 10 minutes, it's like, it might be 8 minutes.
Actually, yeah.
She might actually be ready sooner than this because the shower's fast. It's quick. So
Yeah.
that's been all part of the fun.
And it's been a relief. It was the most dreaded part of it, I believe, up until now. And it's just a relief to have that. I knew it would feel good once it was done. It's like ripping the Band-Aid off, and it just feels better.
Yeah.
And even now with it still falling out, it's not traumatizing at all. It's just like, okay, this is part of what happens, you know.
That's it. And so, I think one of the things that I will say as well is, you know, when you look at nature, the trees don't have like the timeline of like, well, this is the path that the tree is going to grow, and it's got a Google Calendar telling it that this is the way that things are going to go. It just embraces the elements of what's coming at it on a day-to-day basis, and it kind of moves with that, and it does all right. There's trees that are hundreds and hundreds of years old that exist on this planet, and they've had to follow that process and that motto. And over this journey, we've really had to embrace our inner tree and kind of live a little more like that, saying, well, this is what we're hoping for, this is what we have planned, this is what's on the agenda, and then depending on how Lisa's feeling on a given day or how things are going to come along, we might have to adjust that and be okay with that. And that's been all part of the journey of acceptance and allowing us to live in a place of faith and gratitude for what's here and the moments that we do get, the days when Lisa's in a better stage like she is this week. Last week at this point you were definitely in the rough stages. It's like, hey, she can go on, you know, a 2-mile walk in the morning.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do. That's the most important thing that happens that day. Getting her exercised, going along, being able to spend that time, because there's going to be periods in the cycle where it's like, okay, she's going to need her time to rest, and that's just how it's going to be, and she's not going to be feeling that great. And
or even picking up the kids today.
Yeah.
You know, like I live for that. That's so exciting to be able to help him because he's taking on the burden of everything. And just to feel good, to be able to go do the simple things and just have those small wins each day are huge right now.
And those sorts of things, the kids really appreciate it when mom gets to go to take them to school, or if mom's picking them up from school. It's like, ooh, it's like really, really exciting. So the little things really are the big things, and they're things that allow us to create joy and find joy in the journey. And the showering of love that we've had from friends, family, from all of you that have been following this journey, from all pockets of the globe, have just been mind-blowing to us. You know, we've just had so much support and so much perspective and help, and care and love and prayers, and that all just means the world to us. So we just appreciate all of you just so much for choosing to follow this journey. We always say this has always been our mantra since we've recorded these videos before the breast cancer journey. These are videos that we want to go back and look to, speaking to our future selves and saying, hey, this is where we're at in life. And that's how we've always filmed these videos since before this breast cancer journey. And we've always said, hey, if you want to come along for the ride in our life, you're welcome to. But this is for us and for our journey. We've just chosen to share it outwardly as well, and this is really helpful for us, and
just hoping that we can help somebody else the way that it's been helpful for
that's right
myself in particular. Kira and I would watch videos together, and it's helped us make this journey a little less scary. And if we can give that to somebody else, that's the whole point of us. Of course, we want to look back on this and say, hey, look what we accomplished, look what we fought and we won, but also how can we give back and help other people.
Last thing we'll say before we close out is we celebrate everything, celebrate all the wins. So at least one huge win on the heels of what you just said. How many people, what's the count at that we know? And this count might actually be higher in terms of people, women that have reached out to you that have said, I've gotten my mammogram because of you. I'm putting off this appointment because of you, whatever it might be. What's the number at right now?
We are, I believe, at 12 people across the globe that have personally reached out and said, hey, thank you for sharing your story. I've been putting off, for whatever reason it is, getting a mammogram, and 12 that we know of have gone ahead and done that. Simply by us sharing, which is incredible.
The whole reason to hit record the first time, because when this all came together, I told Lisa, I says, we don't have to document any of this, or we can document it for us and we don't have to share any of this. And she says, if I could help just one other woman, just one, just based on her story of choosing to follow through beyond a clean mammogram that came back clear.
3 clean mammograms.
3 clean mammograms. In the past year, there's been 3 clean mammograms. But
no, in the past 2 months.
Yeah, and in the past year, because you had one in California, so now that's actually 4.
Yeah.
But all of that to say, when we talked about it and made the decision that, yeah, we're going to go ahead and share this with people, and if it can help just one life, it's worth it. One mom continue to be there for their children, to be a daughter, to be a friend, to just live life. And not just survive life, but to thrive in life, no matter what comes at you. We said that one life was worth it. So the fact that it's turned this way has just been mind-blowing. And I get to be co-pilot and support the pilot here on whatever course it is that we're going to have. So I think that's all we've got.
I think that's it, because I get to go pick up kids today.
That's it.
So thank you all for watching, and we'll keep you posted with the next one.
And get a hand pan. It's really good for you.
Let's hear it.
Okay, I guess I can play it one more time if we want.